Kaito always walked with his head down, eyes fixed on his scuffed shoes. Crowds were a source of terror, conversations a battlefield, and mirrors, well, he avoided those altogether. Every time he caught his reflection, he saw the same thing: someone too awkward, too plain, and too unworthy of being noticed. He wasn't sure what prompted him to agree when his psychology professor suggested volunteering at a Zen temple for extra credit. Maybe it was the lure of escaping the buzzing campus, or just wanting to please the professor who had taken an interest in him. Whatever the reason, he found himself at the temple's gates on a quiet Saturday morning, clutching his bag nervously. The temple grounds were serene. Cherry blossoms swayed in the breeze, and the faint sound of a bell echoed somewhere in the distance. Kaito hesitated, feeling like an intruder in a world far too peaceful for his restless mind. "Ah, you must be Kaito." Startled, he turned to see an elderly monk with a kind face and a slight stoop. The monk's robes swished softly as he walked. "Welcome, you've come at a good time. We need help cleaning the mirrors in the meditation hall." Kaito blinked. Mirrors. He wanted to protest but found himself nodding instead. The monk led him into a large, sunlit room lined with tall, ornate mirrors that reflected the space's golden light. "Take your time," the monk said, placing a cloth and a spray bottle in Kaito's hands. "When you clean a mirror, remember this: it reflects only what you see, not what is." Kaito frowned. What did that mean? But the monk was already gone, leaving him alone with his task. He started with the nearest mirror, spraying and wiping in slow, deliberate strokes. At first, he focused only on the glass, avoiding his reflection. But as the mirrors began to gleam, his own image became unavoidable. There he was, repeated over and over: thin frame, messy hair, dark circles under his eyes. He sighed. "Not much to look at, huh?" he muttered to himself. The monk's words echoed in his mind. "The mirror reflects only what you see, not what is." Kaito stopped cleaning and stared at his reflection. What did he see? An awkward teenager who stumbled over his words, who avoided making friends because he was sure they wouldn't want him around. Someone who had been told one too many times as a child, "Why can't you be more like your brother?" His hands tightened around the cloth. The temple bell rang again, breaking his thoughts. He noticed something odd. The sunlight streaming through the windows had shifted, casting patterns of golden shadow on the mirrors. His reflection now appeared softer, less harsh. The messiness of his hair caught the light, giving it a surprising glow. Curious, he stepped closer. For the first time he wondered, was it possible he'd been looking at himself all wrong? Hours passed as Kaito moved from mirror to mirror, each time examining not just the glass, but also the way he perceived himself. He thought of the times he had helped his younger cousin with homework, the way she always beamed up at him like he was a hero. He thought of the shy smile the barista at the campus cafe gave him every morning, even when he fumbled his order. The mirrors, polished and clear, seemed to offer him a new perspective. By the time he finished, the monk returned. "Good work," the elder said, his eyes twinkling. "Tell me, what did you learn?" Kaito hesitated before replying. "The mirrors. They only show part of the picture. I think I've been seeing myself through a lens of my own doubts and fears, not what's actually there." The monk nodded. "We are not the sum of what we see in a mirror, Kaito. Mirrors only reflect light. They cannot show the depth of our hearts or the kindness in our actions. To truly see yourself, you must look beyond the surface." That night, as Kaito walked home, he caught his reflection in a shop window. For the first time, he didn't look away. He wasn't perfect. But maybe he didn't have to be. Maybe there was more to him than the awkwardness, more than the imperfections he magnified in his mind. And for the first time in years, Kaito smiled at himself.